Hi everyone, I'm Anna from Sprout, just wanting to do a Sprout Minute on cleaning tack. So things that you need are some sort of glycerin soap to clean. So it's a yellowish looking soap. This one is a little more yellow than normal, and you want a wet sponge. So that's a clean wet sponge. You can kind of see that this one is a little bit yellowish from the yellow. Okay, so on our saddle, for cleaning, we want to run our stirrups down on both sides, okay? And we want to make sure that our flaps are out. So I usually start top, work down, work under, work to the top, down, under, up, and then run up our stirrups, okay? So for quickly, we're just gonna, things that we're looking for when we're cleaning, or we want to make sure that any of the scratches or scrapes that we've given the saddles that look a little dry, we want to give them a little bit more love. You can kind of see how we have a big scrape right up here. So we're probably going to have to give that one a couple of coats of the cleaner. So this is cleaner first. We're going to go under. You can see kind of there's a little bit of film under here. So we're going to kind of try to get a little bit of that off. Okay, you can kind of see film there as well. So we want to get all of these places. Granted, I'm going really quick for our video right now. And when I'm done with the video, I'm going to come back to those spots that we're talking about. So you can kind of see this leather under here looks a little sad. Okay, so we're going over everything once with our cleaner. Gonna flip my stirrup on the other side.
And you seem to be using a circular motion, Miss Anna.
Yeah, I want to get up all that stuff off of the grain. So if I just go straight, that's really not in the grain of the leather. So we want to go in a circular motion, making sure that we're getting up as much dirt as possible. And any of that caked on stuff, we want to try to get that off. You guys can kind of see we've got caked on stuff here. I can kind of scratch it off with my non-existent fingernails. And I will probably spend a little bit more time on that later. But so right now with our cleaner, we're just trying to get off any dirt and dust. The cleaner does actually have a little bit of conditioning portion to it as well. So if you don't have time to do the second bit, doing the first bit will be super helpful. So we've gone over our flap. So this is our flap. These are our billets right under here. So I'm gonna get a little bit more soap. We wanna go run down our billets, okay, and kind of work that in. You can see how that color changed, okay? So we want to make sure that our leather looks nice and happy. So that means that these were really super dry. Dry leather can crack a whole lot easier. And really dry leather is really dangerous for anyone to use. Dancer is one of the horses that we have in our program. He came to my family about 11 or 12 years ago because he was involved in a carriage accident. Carriages, when you're driving, you have reins. They attach kind of just like this. And if that, so we're looking, so on our stirrup leather, we want to make sure that our stitching right here is good and it doesn't peel up and break. So he was driving out with his old owner and they had a rein break. So that means that that lady did not take good care of her tack and that she had bad equipment. So at Sprout, we try to make sure that we have good equipment and that we take care of our equipment so that it's in good shape for our students to use. So you guys can kind of see how as I'm giving this a little bit of love, it's changing colors, it's getting a little bit more flexible. And that's what we look for in our leather. So from here, I'm gonna go over to the other side and do the same thing that we just did on the other side. I'm gonna switch it around so you can see what I'm doing. so I'm not in the wrong, blocking it. Okay, so I'm looking at my leathers. We've got lots of junk right in here. You guys can see this is sort of a spot that gets lots of junk in it. Lots of buildup. See, I really truly do have non-existent fingernails, but they do work. So, fingernails or no fingernails, you can still get off junk. So this is still our cleaner. I'm gonna give some love to the front part of this saddle for the moment. It's got all these kind of...
What are your thoughts between the liquid-based cleaners and the more, I don't know, bar-type cleaners?
Different cleaners can be good for different things. I'd say I like to do the more solid stuff for your cleaning. However, there are really good, like if you have really disgusting stuff, the Cardin Martin cleaner is really super good because that breaks off all that grease, whereas this stuff is not really truly designed to, like, it's designed to sort of clean and condition all in one. However, we really truly use it as a cleaner, not just as a conditioner. However, there are different things for different types of leather, so, or like how gross and disgusting your leather is. So if you're just going to do one thing, clean and condition sort of all in one. However, if you have time to do both, we'd love for both to happen. So you can kind of see how this leather, so these are our billets again. They needed a little bit of moisture. So today what I'm doing is actually going through all of our saddles and touching every single solitary one and double checking to make sure that they're in good condition, as well as double checking the stirrups on all the stitching on all of our stirrup leathers and making sure that they are not going to break. So that's really super important. Okay, so we're back to our stirrup leather. We're gonna check our stitching. Stitching on this one looks good too. So if you peel that back and the stitching breaks, then the leather needs to go away. Or it needs to go to get fixed, depending on how good or what condition your leather is in. So if your leather is not in great shape and your stitching breaks, they're done. So, and you can kind of see as I'm sliding these, as they're more conditioned, they do actually slide better when they're more conditioned. So if you see that your stirrup leathers on your saddle, or on a saddle that you're helping out, isn't sliding all that well, then they need to get conditioned. So this is the stirrup bar right under here. To get your stirrup leather back on, you slide it on, just like that.
Can you talk about orientation of stirrups while we're looking at them?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. That's a great question, Miss Brooke. So I can actually hop on this one, which is really funny. So when we're sitting in our saddle, we want the stirrup leather to be flat against our leg. And for our safety stirrups, we want these to be on the outside. The reason why is if I fall off, and I'm not going to launch myself that way because that would be really bad.
You're not going to do that?
Actually hurt myself. But the reason why we use these, the peacock stirrups, is that for path, we have to either guarantee that every single solitary student will ride in a boot with a heel, or we have to have safety stirrups. So we elected not to make it mandatory for all of our students to have a boot with a heel, but we have safety stirrups so that if anything happens, this will come off and our students will be safe. So So that's our safety stirrups. These are called Peacock stirrups. And now we are ready to run up our stirrup. So to run up your stirrup, it goes on the underside, and then we're going to go down. Because our leathers tend to be fairly soft, the stirrups are heavy and they roll down. So the goal is to have them rolled so then the stirrup will stay up and won't fall down. So are you guys ready for that once more? So stirrup up, okay, down, underneath the stirrup, around the bar, and then back in. Okay, and then this comes and holds it all together. Okay, and then the stirrup won't go down when you're tacking up your horse. So
Such a cool weave thing. I've never seen it that way before, Miss Anna. Thanks for showing us the way.
Trainer was really adamant about it when I was growing up. So this
See, isn't it so cool so that everyone comes with their own knowledge and we can put it all together and
Yep, and we all have different things that we like.
really cool.
And then it won't slide down. So if you're lunging your horse or if you're tacking him, it won't go down. So the last part that we want to look at is our underneath, because this is leather as well. So this is a foam flock saddle. You can tell how it is because it's nice and flat, and it doesn't have lots of bubbles, and it doesn't have an extra stitching on the side. So this leather also needs to be cleaned and conditioned. So we're gonna take our soap, make sure your sponge has lots of stuff. This is called your gullet. These are your panels. These are your sweat flaps. So back in the day, people didn't actually ride with saddle pads. They just put their saddles directly on their horse's back, which is why these are called sweat panels. So, and it would protect the horse's belly from the girth, so that it didn't get pinched. So sweat flaps right here, panels. Okay, so that saddle is nicely clean now. And look at that, our stirrups even stayed up even though it was flopping around upside down. So going back to the places that look like they needed a little bit more love. Okay, so this saddle still looks like it's a little thirsty. So what I do the same thing with the conditioner, and usually our conditioners are either in a liquid format or like Leader Balsam is more like a paste. So then I do the same thing with the conditioner that we just showed you with the cleaner. Okay?